Last year was a whirlwind for Providence. We got a new home here at the John Warner Maritime Heritage Center, we started a whole new program of 5-star tours, and we welcomed a brand new cast of characters. Welcome back to another Tall Ship Tuesday. My name is Caroline, and this month we are looking back at some of our favorite videos on the channel. Now this year we added some new characters to our channel, and one of these characters had a passion to teach you all about the different roles on our historic sailing ships. Our very own ship's boy, Tommy. As Tommy has gotten to learn about the roles of the ship, so have you. So let's look back at the roles Tommy has taught us about this year. Tommy, why don't you take it away?
Well, thanks, Caroline. Let's start with the most important one. My role, of course. Let's talk about the ship's boy.
Hello there! I'm Tommy Carter, one of the ship's boys here on Providence. I have quite a few duties, including running meals to the captain, taking care of livestock, and helping to cook in the galley. When you think of the Continental Navy, you may think of gruffy and strong men. But, truth be told, some ships carried women and children serving as ship's boys, such as myself. You may be asking what a kid as young as 7 would be doing on dangerous naval ships. Well, most ship boys came from poor families, were runaways, or orphans. If they had a position aboard, then that meant they also would have a place to eat and sleep. The term boy was actually a job title, as many ship's boys were actually grown men or women. Some notable cabin boys were Michael Healy, who was a cabin boy in 1854 and became the first African American to command a ship of the U.S. government. John Aglin, a cabin boy who received the Medal of Honor during the American Civil War. Hobart Bosworth, a cabin boy who became a very famous actor. And Commodore John Barry, who would go on to serve in the Revolutionary War and was known as the Father of the Navy. Many Royal Navy officers and other famous Americans also began as cabin boys. Some notable sources of cabin boy media include Treasure Island, where the main character Jim is a cabin boy. Cabin Boy, a song by Tim Robinson from the album War Baby. A 1994 film, Cabin Boy. And Cabin Boy, a short story by Damon Knight, a known science fiction author in the 1940s.
But I'm not the only one doing all the work on the ship. The able seamen, ordinary seamen, and even the landsmen have an important place on our crew.
Hello there, I'm Tommy Carter, one of the ship's boys here on Providence. Today we'll be talking about some of the lower ranks here on the ship. Our landsmen, ordinary seamen, and able seamen. I know you've heard of how demanding it can be to be on a ship pulling the ropes. Let's talk about those who pull ropes. They may not be the highest ranking, but these are the folks who make the ship run smoothly. I would not want to go sailing without them. Our lowest ranking seaman is our landsman. This rank has roots in the Royal Navy, but was adopted by the U.S. Navy. These sailors are trainees who have little to no experience, the lowest grade of adult entry as a seaman. They're very new and probably have never been on a ship before. If they have, it's certainly been less than a year. These sailors are doing the dirtiest, most grueling tasks on our ship, the stuff that our slightly more experienced sailors certainly do not want to do. After generally about a year or so, they could be promoted from landsman to the next lowest rank, ordinary seaman. The ordinary seamen will have 1 to 1.5 years of training under their belt. They understand rudimentary seamanship and have a grasp on the ropes of sailing. They'll often take care of maintenance, repair, sanitation, and upkeep of equipment. They may have proficiency in splicing, knotting, and using a marlin spike, like this one. Seaman is a term that's used interchangeably with sailor to mean anyone who works on a ship out at sea during the age of sail. This term, too, has roots in the Royal Navy. Turns out, when you used to be a colony of the British, you end up taking a thing or two with you when you leave. Who knew? Another rank of seaman on Providence was the able seaman, which the ordinary seaman can be promoted to after some time at sea. Let's talk about our able seaman. An able seaman will be able to perform a specific range of duties they have been trained for. They receive about a 25% higher pay than an ordinary seaman and can be expected to hand, reef, and steer. This means they're able to take soundings, work aloft, and steer the ship. More than 2 years of experience would make an able seaman, but some may even have more. These sailors are on track to become a junior officer before long. If you want to know more about what an able seaman can be promoted to, feel free to let us know. Hopefully this has given you some insight into the workings of our ship. Be sure to visit us here in Alexandria to join our crew and even be assigned to one of these roles.
Personally, I'm not a fan of battle, but when we do get into a skirmish here on Providence, boy am I glad we have a master gunner.
Welcome! You may know me by now, but I'm Tommy Carter, a ship's boy here on Providence. Surely you've been wondering who and how we fire our guns aboard the ship. Well, let me tell you about our officer in command of all that. The master gunner is an officer in charge of the use and upkeep of our guns, what you land folk may refer to as cannons. Master gunners have command over their guns during battle, giving orders of when to prepare, aim, and fire guns. The master gunner keeps an eye on gun preparation, maintenance, and the storage of gunpowder and shots. A master gunner carries out various duties, one of which is firing gun salutes. This is the firing of a gun that could leave a ship defenseless. It started in the 14th century, but in the future may be seen as a large showing of respect. The master gunner will also give orders when the captain is not around. Our first tool we need to use is called the worm. The worm is used to take out any debris or rust left inside the bore of the gun. Then we use our wet swab. The wet swab is dipped in a bucket of water and used to extinguish the embers from the last shot by the gun. Then we use our dry swab in return. This dries out the moisture that was just put inside the bore of the gun. After a while, it'll be so hot inside that bore of the gun that the water will just evaporate on its own, so there'll be no need to use the dry swab. Then we have to load our cartridge of gunpowder, so we use the ram to ram that gunpowder into the bottom of the gun. After loading our shot and loading our full gun, we use our linstock. Linstock has a slow burning match up at the top, which will be lit, and that is used to light the gun ablaze. One important master gunner you can look into is George Marshall, who was seen as one of the most important naval gunners to the U.S. Navy. Born in Greece, he moved to the U.S. in 1806 and served for more than 15 years in the Navy. Perhaps you could take care of this important job and learn how to shoot one of our guns aboard the ship here in Alexandria. Below deck, let us know if you could take care of this dangerous job. Thank you, fair winds and following seas.
I have to be honest with you. If I were in charge of navigating, I think we'd be lost at sea right now. But luckily, I'm not in charge of navigating. That's up to Providence's master navigator.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm Tommy Carter, one of the ship's boys here on Providence. You know, I have no idea how to use this thing, but I know who does. Our master navigator is in charge of the ship's navigation and sailing the vessel. The rank is similar to a professional seaman and specialist in navigation. Some of their duties consist of navigation, setting sails for required conditions, and being stationed on the quarterdeck during battle. A second master might also be chosen to work as a deputy or master navigator in training. Some master navigators were even appointed to command ships and rose to the rank of master commandant, but that comes later in our history. His duties also included power over all voyages and doling out punishments if needed. Navigation started very early in sea, and some of the best navigators were early Polynesian navigators. They found their way across the Pacific using the sun, stars, and other natural cues. So before we had these newfangled contraptions to measure the stars, there were other ways people could get their bearings. Let me teach you how to use some of our navigational tools. This sextant is used to navigate by measuring the angular distance between objects and taking altitudes in surveying. It requires skill, but in no time you'll be able to use one. To use the sextant to measure the angular distance between the sun and the horizon, you hold the sextant to your eye so that the horizon is visible through the scope. The arm, index, and attached mirror are rotated so that the light is reflected onto the silver mirror. When the silver mirror is level with the horizon, then the angle can be read on the calibrated arm. At the helm, there are special terms that are used to steer the ship. On Providence, we have what's called a tiller. This is used to control the rudder of the ship. To control the rudder, all commands are backwards because when we want to turn left, we have to push the tiller to the right. Navigational instructions include midship, which is the middle of the ship, touch right, which is a little bit to the left,
quarter right, where we go diagonal to the left, half right, which means we move another quarter, and full right, which means we go all the way over. Then, to turn left, we want to move to the right. So, touch left means we go a touch to the right. Quarter left means we go to this diagonal. Then half left means we move over another quarter. And full left means we go all the way over here. If you're steering the ship, you may even need to learn the whereabouts of the binnacle, which holds the ship's magnetic compass. Our navigators may also have to use a chart. Charts are the key to safe navigation. It shows the configuration of the shore and sea. It provides danger of navigations, water depths, locations, anchorages, and other features. Some important navigators include Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer who was in service of Spain in the late 1400s. Jacques Cartier, who reached North America for France in the 16th century. John Fryer, a sailor from Norfolk for the Royal Navy, master aboard the Bounty. A Portuguese man, Prince Henry, is well known for assembling a large group of maritime men who were in charge of designing new ships, maps, and navigational instruments. Although he did not sail himself, he is known as Henry the Navigator. If you have great navigational skill, let us know down below, and perhaps you'll be our next Master Navigator. Down below, also let us know which role you want to learn about next, and check out our adventure page. Till next time, fair winds and following seas. That may be all I have for this year, but trust me, there's a lot to tackle next. On deck, we have roles like the captain, the cook, and the carpenter, and many more. So keep an eye out for everything I have in store next. If you have any roles you'd like to learn about this year, let me know below deck. Now, I'm gonna let Caroline take the wheel, or in Providence's case, the tiller.
Well, thank you, Tommy, and thank you all for joining the Tall Ship Providence Foundation on this Tall Ship Tuesday. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We put out new educational material each week about maritime history, seamanship, tall ships, and even the occasional sea shanty. So don't forget to share this with someone who might want to learn something new. Until next time, we hope to see you back again on another Tall Ship Tuesday. Bye!